Hey, Sharks fans, been a while, but we're back. And hey, now we have ourselves a full regular season schedule. We already know about the preseason, blah, 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 two against, whatever. But it's all about the regular season, kids. We already knew a couple days ago that the Sharks are going to open up at home versus the Ducks, then give the LA Kings their home opener and fly all the way out to Philly and give the Flyers their home opener. Did not know that the Islanders were going to fall in between there. So here we go. We have ourselves a schedule. Let's see. Let's start off in October, obviously. So Sharks start off hosting Anaheim. And how fitting is that? Because, knocked them out. So I should say swept them right out the door last postseason. Then, boom. 5-game roadie, including back-to-backs versus the Islanders and the Flyers. But I like this opening road trip, aside from going to LA, of course. But either way, I mean, you've got the whole weekend. I'm assuming that once they finish LA on Friday, October 5th, maybe take the red eye out to the East Coast. Then, boom, Islanders. Okay. Again,
see, that's the weird one. By the way, hi everyone.
Oh,
yeah. It's a little weird. So you go to Brooklyn, then to Philly, then back to New York, and then to New Jersey. Then you come home. And here's a good thing: within the first 12 days, John Tavares will already see his former teammates.
Well, there you go. No doubt, right?
But
how great is that? You play the Islanders twice in like the first 8 games. That's cool.
And you play the Rangers twice in the first. In twice in 19 days to get it October finished up.
Yeah, this is interesting. And you play Anaheim twice in the first month.
Yeah, and I kind of like how they use like LA and Anaheim, and as we go through the schedule, you'll see like Vegas or Arizona as like little things to kick off a road trip. So they like fly down first and then they fly out. But
yeah.
So
very
you want me to take November?
Well, hold on. I'm not done with October yet, brother.
Oh well.
So
excuse me.
we've got that silliness on that first 5-game roadie back east. Again, so silly to be that close to Manhattan, have to go to Philly and then come back. But New Jersey, we should actually call this off as it is. So Sharks host Anaheim, then at LA, at Isle, at Flyers, at Rangers, at Devils, come home and host the Buffalo Sabres when you were just this close to Buffalo itself. And then, boom, you get the Islanders again. So, yeah, twice in like 13 days. That's fun. Then you get to go out to Nashville, at Carolina, come home almost because you're playing at Anaheim. So, okay, I don't have a problem with that. Good days off in there. Then we take it to November after finishing the October off versus the Rangers, and we get a nice stretch of 4 home games to mark the beginning of November. Rangers, Columbus, Philly, Minnesota. Anything from that, puck guy, that like makes you go, eh?
Yeah, I mean, you only play Anaheim twice and LA once in the Pacific for the whole month of October, and then you come home and you get 3 Eastern clubs in the NBC division, and then you get Minnesota, and then you fly out for a quickie road trip back to back in Dallas and St. Louis. That's a little weird, and then you come back home. You get a day off from Minnesota. You get from playing at home in Minnesota, day off. Go to Dallas. Next night, you go to St. Louis, get a day off, and then come back, and then you have a 6-game homestand. You get Calgary, Nashville, Marlowe makes his return on November 15th.
How long is that standing ovation going to be?
Probably be just as long. Hey, and if Leafs fans are preferring it, they would like to go after Jumbo. So that could be a long ovation for Jumbo if he were to end up in Toronto. So that'd be interesting. Then you go and get St. Louis. You get Edmonton on the 20th, right before Thanksgiving. The 23rd, you are home against Vancouver. And then the next night, the Saturday after Thanksgiving, they start a road trip in Vegas. So the Saturday after Thanksgiving, I guess that's starting to become a tradition then. It used to be Chicago would come in the night before Thanksgiving. Now it's the Sharks come in.
No, the Sharks go out to Vegas on Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah, now that's the new tradition. So they go to Vegas. That starts a road trip where they go through the northeast portion of the schedule, where they had Buffalo, then they're on the road with Toronto, then they go to Ottawa, and then Montreal. They get all those teams clumped together, taken care of. And so if you look at it,
that makes sense. But the problem that doesn't make sense for me during this stretch is that you have the Sharks playing 8 games. They play 5 on the road, then they come home to face Carolina, then they go right back on the road. I mean, really? Like, I can't, it's hard for me to remember the last time that the Sharks were on a road trip, came home to play just 1 game, and then turn around and went back out on the road if it wasn't versus a Pacific, I don't want to say Pacific Division, I want to say Pacific time zone opponent.
Yeah. And if you look at it, if you keep going through, if you look from November, they get Calgary, and that's it for the month of November for Pacific Division opponents at home. And then you don't see another Pacific Division opponent until you play LA on the 22nd. And I'll let you go from there.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What did you just say?
So when you look at Pacific Division opponents at home, you have
home. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Never mind. I thought that's not what I thought you. Okay. So yeah. At home.
So I mean,
well, I don't really care too much about that, but anyway. So December, we're used to. Okay, man, this is. I hope that this is correct, because if it is, this is going to be really weird. So we have a couple interesting ones here in the month of December. Now, of course, they call it the silly season for a reason. So we have really? Okay. It's just
where are you looking at, AJ?
December. I'm just all over the map here. December is really weird. So playing 3 against Dallas this year, and 2 of them are like in less than a week in the month of December. At Dallas, December 7th, hosting Dallas Thursday the 13th. So, okay, interesting, sure. Then again, quirkiness in this schedule in December. You get back from the 5 games in the Northeastern Quadrant, come back, host that 1 game against the Hurricanes. Then you go out to Dallas and Arizona. Then you come home, host 2 against the Devils and the Stars. Then you go back out on the road for 2 versus the Hawks and the Wild. And then you come home for a nice 4-game stand. And, I will say this. The Sharks have been pretty well blessed when it comes to scheduling around Christmas. Like, it always seems like they usually have 2 or 3 before Christmas, 2 or 3 after. I can't remember the last time the Sharks were actually on the road during Christmas. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that. I remember. No, I shouldn't say that, because a year or so ago, or within the last couple of years, I'm actually incorrect, because I do have a very vivid memory of the Sharks playing at LA, at Anaheim, and it was like, oh, they're finally playing in SoCal back-to-back, but they wedged Christmas in the middle of it. So It wasn't actually a back-to-back. But anywho, Winnipeg, LA, Arizona, and Anaheim for a nice 4-game homestand during the holidays, then heading out to Edmonton. And then here's the thing that is kind of standing out to me. So they're playing Edmonton on Saturday the 29th at 2:00.
Mm-hmm.
What? is
my guess is that it's got something. It's got to have something with Hockey Night in Canada. It's got to have something with it. I don't know what it could be.
Well, let me ask. Well, hold on. I'm assuming all of these times on here are local to us.
Yes.
So,
because otherwise we would have seen.
Yeah, you'd see 5:30s and all of it. Yeah, 4:30s.
Well, you know what? I take that back, dude, because I look at the schedule and I look at that at Philadelphia on October 9th, and that says 7 p.m. there's no way that a Flyers game or a Rangers game is going to start at 7 p.m. our time. So this is probably local time. So that's
that's what I'm
noon.
saying. Okay, so
Yeah, it's noon
hold on.
time.
You're okay. So you're making my point for me. So here's the thing that I think is very bizarre as I mark some other things here. So Monday, okay, Monday the 8th. I'm sorry, is that a holiday that October 8th is a holiday that I'm unaware of? Because they have the Sharks playing at 1 o'clock on here. Now, again, this just came out. There may be, I mean, yeah, okay, it's Columbus Day, but really? Like, you don't see a lot of people getting Columbus Day off. I'm just saying that just seems like an odd.
If you want, AJ, the website, the sjsharks.com has finally uploaded the schedule up, so we can kind of go over it a little bit more.
Oh well, welcome to the new world.
And yes, that is a 10 a.m. start on October 8th, in Brooklyn.
Oh no, wait a minute.
So on October
8th,
these
times are in fact local on here.
Right. So when it says 1 p.m. on
Hold on, wait a minute. No, okay. They're local to the market. Okay.
Right.
Okay,
so like I said, right here.
That's what I was asking about. No. Yeah. I got it. So anyway, I don't know why they're playing at 10 a.m. on a Monday. I mean, okay, Columbus Day, sure, whatever. Then 10 a.m. on Sunday versus the Devils. Really, NHL? You're going to go against the gauntlet that is football? Really?
On a Sunday in the New York market.
Exactly. That seems a little perplexing, but okay. Then let's get back into December.
There we go.
11 a.m. on a Saturday versus Ottawa. Okay. And then the final Saturday in the month. Again, like
again, that's probably a Hockey Night in Canada triple header.
Okay. That also, if you look at it though, a Saturday, January 29th, I'm guessing that's going to also December 29th. Yeah, December 29th. I'm guessing that you might see NFL playoff games in, because usually, championship series, that's, they usually go Saturday, Sunday. Maybe that's
they probably have a Saturday night game, and maybe that's why they did it at 1 o'clock. But I mean, that's like the last weekend of the regular season. So
either way,
moving on to January.
At the Avalanche to start the new year of 2019, and then heading out on a they head out to Colorado and then come home to host a three-game roadie. Geez.
3-game homestand.
Yeah, 3-game homestand. I'm telling you, I'm like so jacked about this. I'm almost out of ink in my highlighter here. So, but then, and see, this is nice. You host 3 games, then you go to Vegas, come back and host 2 games. That's all. Let's be honest. That's almost like a 6-game homestand when you're playing Vegas or LA or Anaheim.
And that's where it makes sense, where you have all these local opponents. This is kind of where you kind of get that East Coast advantage now, where they've played it. What's interesting here, this is an interesting one. When's the last time you saw that Sharks have an 8 p.m. start on January 5th against Tampa Bay?
That's really, really, really weird. When was the last time? No, I don't want to say the last time. When have you ever seen the Sharks host a game that started past 7:30?
I'm not counting those NBCSN games.
I'm not talking about the ones that run overtime from a doubleheader. I'm talking that the designated start time is that late.
My only guess is when they've had opening night at the then named San Jose Arena, or opening night at the Cow Palace. Those are the only ones that I've seen it. Otherwise, it's either been 7 p.m. or 7:30. So something's going on January 5th. That's quite interesting.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's no holiday that I know of. I mean,
And on a Saturday too.
Yeah, so that's a little quirky.
Oh, you know what? That
no. Hold on,
no. That might be NFL playoff games.
No, dude, no. Wait a minute. That can't possibly be weird. Hold on. This can't be okay. Let's just call the bullshit out for what it is. There is no way that this has to be somebody wrote the wrong thing down. How much do you want to bet that this is a 5 p.m. start, 8 p.m. in Tampa? I bet you somebody confused this. Because why would you start a hockey game when one of the teams, their local market, is starting at 11 o'clock at night? You understand what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying. At 11 p.m.
Like, if that's Vancouver or LA or Anaheim, maybe you have that. You are not starting a hockey game in Tampa Bay at 11 p.m. So that's one I'm just going to jot down here. I'm going to call bullshit on this one. I'm going to say that gets updated because, like, really? Let's just call that one out now. So let's move on.
I mean, that's wild card weekend, so that would be.
I don't care. You're not starting a game at 11 o'clock at night unless that game is, if this game was being played in like Japan, sure. But this game is being played in San Jose. It's not going to be an 11 p.m. local start in Tampa. Just not going to happen. And if it is, I'll come on here on that night after the game and I'll sing something. I haven't figured it out yet, but I'll sing something. So anyway, LA, Edmonton, finish up the home. Again, like I said, roll over to Vegas real quick because Joe Thornton, I love Vegas.
I love Vegas. Yeah, bud.
So Ottawa, Pittsburgh. Then a couple of these road trips are interesting as that to start off the season, it's at LA, and then boom, big East Coast swing. And then at the end of November, it's at Vegas, and then boom, big East Coast swing. Mm-hmm. And then again, we get this at the end of January where it's at Arizona, kind of close, and then boom, East Coast swing to Tampa, Florida, and Washington. No problems there. But again, you go on a 4-game roadie, come home to host Arizona, and then you go back out on a 4-game roadie. These are very bizarre, but let's preface that it's not exactly like that because the last game of their roadie is January 22nd when they host that game versus Arizona. After that road trip, it's 10 days later because All-Star break. How do you do?
Right. The 25th to 26th, even though it doesn't designate on the schedule that I'm showing you. I mean, that's the All-Star weekend in San Jose. Definitely look out for a lot of more events, more info coming out about that.
Yeah, and the Sharks will be idle that week. So, okay, no problems there. Then to start off February, again, like I said, nice, Western Canada swing at Winnipeg, but then, Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver, as the way it should be.
Mm-hmm. Where you fly all the way out as far as east and then work your way back. I agree.
Well, it's not even that. It's the fact that if you're going to play Edmonton and Calgary, yes, get Vancouver in there. I mean, you look at the end of December. It's at Edmonton, at Calgary. Was there not a chance to wedge Vancouver? Like, I need to look on here. And at the end of the very end of the schedule, they have at Vancouver, at Edmonton. But either way, just make sure you make that happen. Again, another weird quirk in the schedule. Playing Washington. Well, no, because they get that idling week in there. But anyway, at Winnipeg, at Calgary, at Edmonton, at Vancouver, then coming home to host Washington, and then Vancouver. Valentine's Day against the reigning Stanley Cup champs. Another fun quirk to the schedule that I'm noticing, playing Vancouver twice in 5 days, Monday the 11th and then Saturday the 16th. So That's
No,
fun.
this is usually when we play Vancouver like 5 times in a month, so they got it down to 2 this time.
No, don't you remember? Remember like 2 years ago, we didn't see Vancouver until like March 30th.
And we had like 4 games against them in like 16 days, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So then they go for another 4-game roadie at Pitt, at Columbus, at Detroit, at Boston. Oh, so we don't see Detroit up until almost the end of February. At Boston. See, that's the other thing that I always get a kick out of is who's the last team we see. So right now, I'm looking at the schedule. It looks like Detroit is that's the last team that the Sharks run into on the schedule. And when I say that, that's another one. So locally at Detroit, 3 o'clock. So that's a noon start here. Fun.
A lot of afternoon games.
Okay, now somebody, there's not a lot, but there's a few in here. Here's the other one that's baking my noodle. Once we get into March, hosting Colorado, Chicago, Montreal, and St. Louis. That game on St. Louis is a 1 o'clock start. Now, again, that's 1 o'clock locally. These are local start times, so that's 11 o'clock here.
And that's usually when they have the flip-flop Sharks Barracuda doubleheader. They've always had their doubleheader on the state. Remember, 2 years ago was the jersey designed.
Yeah, it is.
Sharks play at 1,
but it is 1 o'clock here. Okay, never mind. Yeah. So 1 o'clock start. But either way, okay, interesting. That'll definitely be a doubleheader. And then another one of these weird quirks. Here's another quirk that you host St. Louis at the end of a 4-game homestand. Then you go out to Minnesota, play at Minnesota the next night at Winnipeg, and then fly right back home to host 3. And then the thing that we have not seen since the beginning of time, a back-to-back in Southern California at Los Angeles on Thursday, March 21st, the very next night at Anaheim on March 22nd. Can you mother suckers say road trip?
Oh, yeah. Big time.
Hell to the yeah. I'm so down with that.
And then they come back with a 4-game homestand to finish out the month at home to Detroit. That's always a big one. And then, Thursday night, the Chicago, and then a 6 p.m. start against the Golden Knights. That might be another Barracuda Sharks doubleheader. And then the next night, 5 p.m., going up against Calgary. So
interesting. And another thing,
a couple of back-to-back homes on the schedule this year.
Another thing to point out to here as well as the Sharks are not playing the night before Thanksgiving, which historically they've done for the longest time, usually against Chicago, but they are playing on Boxing Day.
No, they aren't.
They aren't? What? Oh, no, hold on. I got the wrong calendar. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, you got my hopes
wrong calendar.
Because that's my birthday.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Playing the day after Boxing Day. But they're not playing the night before Thanksgiving, bizarrely enough, but they are playing the 2 following nights after Thanksgiving. Very interesting.
Yep.
Couple of different things. So now, I guess we get to start speculating. So when are the mystery pucks being handed?
When are the mystery pucks? I mean, if that 8 o'clock start holds true on January 5th, what is going on there? That usually means, if that's the case, AJ, something's going on.
Well, we have that. Let me just take a look here at some of the last year's mystery puck times.
I'm going to take a shot in the dark right now, AJ. And, Owen Nolan calls his shot bobblehead. Maybe it coincides with somebody getting their number retired.
Okay, that's
just a pure guess. I don't know anything, but that's just a pure guess.
Really? Okay, let's write this down. Let's write this down. We're calling stuff here. We're predicting.
Yeah.
So might as well get. Okay, so he's saying Nolan bobblehead night you don't do a bobblehead unless you're going to retire the person's number. So he is calling it that Owen Nolan bobblehead
That's right.
night.
I'm calling it.
Owen Nolan bobblehead night will feature the retirement of his number. That's a ballsy call, my friend. That is a ballsy. Is that the
Becker,
first? Is that the first Shark that pops into my mind to get his number retired? Yes. Do I think they're going to do it? No.
More important.
Yeah.
Well,
no.
I think it's the first time that they had a non-current Shark as a bobblehead. So that's something to take into account.
But I also wonder if part of that is just because that they haven't, like they're running out of ideas a little. I mean, I don't want to say they're running out of ideas, but I mean, we're getting another. Hey, quiet. We're getting another Joner bobblehead this year, just like we got last year. There was a Pavelski bobblehead the year before, which on Fan Appreciation Night, and then last year was the Captain America one. Maybe they're running out of themes. They might be running out of players. Maybe see now. Here, my friend, is the reason why that I'm calling that while I think, and of course, when I say that, he has to drop off. What a puck guy. But so for those of you watching, I think calling the Nolan bobblehead and saying that is that's the year, that's when they say, you know what, we're finally going to retire a number. Here's why I say no. It's all okay. So Eric's back. Here is why I say that they aren't going to retire it. The reason why they're doing the Nolan bobblehead this year is because of the All-Star game.
Well, sure.
Okay, there you go.
There's that, but my question is this: where? What else do you hold for a game at 8:00? I just don't get it. It'd be a shot in the dark for them to say that.
I got to be honest with you. I still think that this is a typo of some sort. I think something's not right here. Something's not right in Denmark.
Okay.
So I'm not sure what it is, and
that's my total guess. That's why I was thinking.
Okay.
That.
Put the freaking crackers away, or whatever you're getting into. So anyway, that's the schedule, people. It's available on the website now for on sharks.nhl.com.
Only took a half hour 45 minutes for the NHL to
NHL get come on, can we get you get your acts together, people? I mean, seriously, taking that long to put, and can we also just talk for a hot second about what a hot mess and address the NHL is with getting the preseason schedule out? You got two teams announcing, then 5 hours later, another team puts it out. I mean, just coming out in dribbles and squibs is stupid. Just put it all out at the same time, both of them. And I mean, for the love of God. And also for the same thing, dude, what the hell are you doing over there?
Well, I don't know what you're talking about. I swear, I'm not doing anything.
Dude, it is so annoying. Dude, mute yourself. I can hear all sorts of crap. But the other thing is, there's going to be like 19 alternate jerseys introduced before this season gets going. We already know that the Hurricanes and the Coyotes are introducing their jerseys tomorrow for the draft. We know that San Jose is going to have an alternate jersey this season. At this point, we still have no idea when it's going to be announced. Now, we can speculate. We can sit there and say, well, there are other teams, like I said, the Canes and the Yotes, that are, in fact, releasing their alternate jerseys at the draft tomorrow. You can speculate and say, well, maybe the Sharks are keeping it under wraps, and they will announce it, but it's going to be a big surprise. Okay, that's cool. What other opportunities do the Sharks have between now and the start of the season to debut that new alternate? It would stand to reason the scrimmage game on July 6th. But would the Sharks kind of encroach? Would they release the alternate jersey that time when we already know that we're getting a new Barracuda logo because the San Jose Barracuda are no longer sponsored. We're not dealing with Barracuda networks anymore. So would you encroach on revealing what I would assume is going to be a new Barracuda jersey, obviously with the new Barracuda logo? Would you encroach on that? Maybe, maybe not. But then you kind of go, so will the alternate reveal be a different random date, or will they not even tie it into an event at the tank? I don't know. Lots to go over, lots to cover during the off season, but this is job one, people, and I have to go get my hands on some tickets is what I need to do, and I need to evidently book some hotel time towards the third week of March down in LA so I can go meet some hockey.
Or the Saturday after Thanksgiving in Vegas.
You know, I've done Vegas enough. I'm doing Vegas after Thanksgiving. Well, hell, I might do both, but seeing Vegas and Thanksgiving, yeah, that'd be great. I've just the idea of doing games. Did I sound like I was done talking? Because it didn't feel like it. Jesus. Well, dude, I'm not done. LA and Anaheim, I've never gone to see a team, see the Sharks play in another team's barn. How cool would it be to do that back to back? That'd be awesome. Go down Wednesday, come back Saturday. Hi-yo. You may speak.
Thank you very much, sir. My thinking is that there's too much people talking right now. Go ahead, AJ.
What? I don't even know what he's talking about. AJ sure is feisty this offseason. Yes, I'm going through hockey withdrawal, damn it. And you know what it is? Here's the reason why I'm so feisty, to be honest with you. The NHL taking their sweet-ass time getting this schedule out. Come on. Everyone was all this promotion about 2 o'clock. It's going to be out on 2 o'clock. Meanwhile, we were sitting here at 27 after the hour, and we still hadn't seen a schedule. So, yes, I'm a little
we basically had partial schedules for the two teams in the Cup final. That was pretty much it.
Yeah.
Through 25 minutes, which I get it. They want to slowly eke it out, build up some stuff. However,
Bobandy, I can't help it, man. I can't help it. Well, here's the other thing too, and let's just pontificate for a quick second here. By the time the Sharks get to Vegas, which is, and I'm talking, just after Thanksgiving. By the time the Sharks get to Vegas, we're like, what, 5, 10, 15, 20. That's like game 25, somewhere in there. Somebody can correct my math. But you're talking 25 games in, like almost a third of the way to the schedule. What if Vegas sucks at that point? What if Vegas has I mean, I know it's cliche when you're talking about Vegas, but a hangover? What if after those 25, 26 games that they're like, I don't know, 10, 13, and 3? Like, what if they suck? Maybe those tickets to Vegas aren't going to be as astronomical as they were last year. Could be. And especially in you're kind of hit and miss when you go to like Vegas on Thanksgiving. Sometimes you can get a hell of a deal, and then there's some years where like it's hard to find anything for a hotel because for some reason everybody's going there. So anyway, Puck Guy, you say things now. I have to go deal with something. And evidently Puck Guy is not listening any longer or something. He's just sitting here.
I'm listening.
So there he is. All right. So
you need to go deal with something. Sharks, I'll take over.
Go Sharks. Go say Sharks things now for the moment.
Gotcha. I to me, kind of echoing back a little bit. What is the one thing we've always said about being into after Thanksgiving, and our good friends at TSN have always said, hey, it always ends up being you kind of know an idea if you're a playoff team or not by Thanksgiving. And to echo aging sentiments there,
you can kind of see where the team is. I mean, yeah, outside a redonkulous comeback. So we'll see on that. Echoing back to the third jersey reveal, could it happen at the prospect scrimmage? Sure. I have a feeling it'll happen at FanFest personally, and that's usually when tickets will go on sale. So we'll see about that. That's for damn sure. Back to you, AJ.
Okay, I don't know what you just said, but yeah, whatever he said, yeah, what he said. My thing here is, besides the schedule, we have, let's talk about something here for a quick second. Sharks promotional schedule. A couple years ago, the Sharks just started doing an obscene amount of giveaways. I mean, we saw the mini lockers, we saw a lot of stuff. Now, granted, some of that might have had to do with the fact that it was the 25th anniversary of the team. So you can very well say, well, yeah, 25th anniversary, something to celebrate. Let's give away some extra goodies that season. Totally get you. But last season, they also gave away just as many goodies. There was another Los Tiburones jersey last season as there was the previous year, and there's going to be one this upcoming season that they've already announced. We already know about the Nolan bobblehead. We know about there's going to be a Martin Jones Game of Jones bobblehead. Now, you look at the schedule, there might be a couple things you look in here and go, well, that's pretty obvious. There needs to be a giveaway then. But the Sharks, they're going to look at the schedule, and let's just be honest, some teams just do not move the meter as well as other ones. Arizona on a Sunday would not surprise me. And we're also talking December 23rd. That's hot and heavy football times, my friend. So Arizona on Sunday the 23rd, I'm going to come right out and, I'm going to call it now. There's going to be a giveaway that night. You got to do something to goose those tickets. The Desert Dogs suck. And they just traded away Max Domi, one of the guys that people were actually excited about. Granted, it's not like they didn't get back a similarly exciting player, depending on who you talk to, but Max Domi was I was excited about watching that kid play. Who's the guy we got back?
Galchenyuk.
Galchenyuk. Yeah, I'm never going to be able to get that kid's name right. But so we get, I mean, you know what I'm saying. That to me is going to be a key time where the Sharks do something to goose the sales. And then, you go and look at some other games here. Of course, my eyes immediately go to Wednesday, Tuesday games. Wednesday, December 5th versus Carolina. Again, this is one of those ones. This is a perfect opportunity to do a giveaway. And if you go back to last season, somebody write this down. But if you go back to last season, the Sharks played the Carolina Hurricanes on December 7th of last year. And that was San Francisco Giants night, where there were mystery bags. There were the Sharks came out in Giants warm-up jerseys that could be auctioned. There was, Bay Area Unite night. So I would jot that one down and say Wednesday the 5th versus Carolina. There's going to be giveaways that night, my friend.
Ironically enough, both Giants nights have been against Carolina. And then
so why stop now?
Right. So it makes sense for them to have it. By the way, in reverse mode, the Giants are doing a Sharks night on September 24th. Is there a preseason game that day?
Well, it's actually September 25th, but let me take a look.
My bad.
No problem. Now let's see if the Sharks, really? Are you kidding me? So the Sharks on their website have the regular season schedule in here. They don't have their preseason schedule on here. Are you kidding me? Come on, Sharks. You're better than that. I'm telling you. I believe in you, Sharks, but you're better than that. Now I have to sit here and vamp and try to find wherever it is that the preseason schedule has been posted. Are you kidding me? I so have better things to do than this. Come on, man. Oh, somebody in the chat, help me out. What are the preseason?
Let's be real here. You don't. You're waiting for hockey to come back. Come on now.
No, but I mean, this is just, the silliness is palpable. Like, how do you not have that on your website? It's only been available for like, I don't know, like a week and a half, 2 weeks, whatever.
Like a week.
Yeah. No, this is, oh dear Lord. So okay, somebody in the chat, please help me out. Where can I find the preseason schedule? I cannot believe that the Sharks don't have this on their website. I mean, honestly. Oh, let me see. If I search SJ Sharks preseason, maybe that'll help me out. I think. Let's see. Christ, why would it? Nope. Doesn't help me out. Okay, there we go. We got it. Okay, so what was it? Okay, so the Sharks do in fact play September 25th, the same night that it is
irony.
Yeah, the same night it is Sharks night at the Tank, but at least it's an away game. It's at Calgary. And
okay, so that's doable.
Yeah, at least it's an away game. But for those of you wondering, for any reason whatsoever, 2 games versus Anaheim, 2 versus Vegas, 2 versus Calgary during the preseason. None versus LA, none versus Vancouver. Kind of odd when you look at the history of the Sharks. But again, Vegas comes in, throws a monkey wrench into everything. I'm going to be interested to see how this preseason is going to work, because the Sharks are playing 6 games, but you've got some teams that are playing like 10 preseason games. Like,
well, I think a lot of that's from. I think a lot of them do split squad.
Yeah. Oh no, it's fine. I mean, do all the split squads that you want, but that's just
Calgary.
That's just very odd. I mean, you've got let me see. Looking at my grid here. Okay, so it's like, Arizona plays 6, Boston plays 6, Anaheim plays 6, but then and oh my God, Philadelphia. Not only does Philadelphia play 8, they play 4 back-to-backs. At the Islanders, hosting the Islanders, at the Islanders, at the Rangers, and then hosting the Islanders. I mean, holy hell.
Again, that could be split squad games.
Yeah, no, but that's the whole thing. No, the graphic that I'm looking at, they have split squads listed. That is not one of them. And then you've also got some fun stuff happening where, you've got some fun stuff happening where, I tweeted it out. Do me a favor, please. Follow me on Twitter, AJ_strong, and of course, Tealtown USA, at Tealtown USA. We tweeted it out as well. There's a game being played, a preseason game being played in like Salt Lake City. There's one being played in Des Moines, Iowa. There's, I know there's another one being played in, not a normal place that you would, I think in like, not Tulsa, maybe it's Tulsa, but there's a game being played in Oklahoma. So they're trying to push some preseason games out into some markets that you're not normally seeing them. And if I remember correctly, there's also one, I think there's a game or 2 being played outside of the country. Is it outside of North America?
If I'm not
China
mistaken,
or something?
Yeah, it's in China. Calgary plays 2 games, and I think it's Boston that plays 2 games as well. So that's where you would see that split squad designation on some of them.
Yeah. So interesting things happening with that. Getting back to the schedule, like I said, I think Carolina Wednesday the 5th very well is going to be San Francisco Giants night. Of course, they'll very likely be a Golden State Warriors night. Although, when was the last time the Warriors did jack for the Sharks? Thank you. I'm sure there'll be an Oakland A's night. Funny that we haven't had really a 49ers night. Of course, I think we're never going to see a Raiders night because obviously they're moving, and obviously because they were rooting for the Golden Knights all through the playoffs from day one. So we'll never see that. I wouldn't surprise me if there's an Earthquakes night in here. You're also going to have some, the promotional tickets. There'll be some special promos for the local colleges, whether it's Santa Clara, Stanford, San Jose State, what have you. So there'll be some promos in there. The interesting thing for me, Gordon Biersch is no longer making Chum beer. So will there be a different kind of beer pack? We saw a lot of times where there would be Chum packs, buy 2 tickets, get 2 bottles of Chum. Sometimes there would be maybe 2 beer steins. There's also been girls' night out, guys' night out, which I actually thought was a really good promotion, where it was, 2 wine glasses with Sharks logos. You'd get 2 tickets for some wine and 2 tickets to the game. Conversely, for guys' night, you get 2 Sharks beer steins and 2 tickets for some beer, and then obviously 2 tickets to the game. I hope they return to that this season. The other thing that I'm kind of interested in: will the Sharks put together some sort of marker, whether it's a giveaway or whatnot? Clearly, there's not going to be a patch, because the Sharks should, we have the 25th patch here. This should be replaced this year with an all-star patch, because obviously the Sharks are hosting the all-star game. But will there be something to mark that this is the 25th anniversary of the tank? Because remember, the Sharks played first 2 seasons of their existence at the Cow Palace, but the tank opened 93 for the 93-94 season. Will be the 25th anniversary of that. So I don't know if there'll be stuff at the store. I don't know if there'll be a promotion for that, for if they pick a particular night and do a promotion for that. That'd be kind of cool. So I think I'm just about to wrap it up. For those of you watching, I see 16 of you. Thanks for the thumbs up. If anybody has any questions, what's taking Doug Wilson so long to buy out Paul Martin? I wish I knew, but I would say that I think, and it's funny that you asked that question, because Eric and I were talking about it before we went on, that maybe it's a case of, if you buy him out now, you'll save a little money here, but you're like, you have to pay, what is it? It's like you have to pay a little bit more money this year, but you're free and clear next year. But if you don't buy him out, you pay less money this season, but you have to pay a little bit next season as well.
You actually kind of got to reverse a little bit. If you just let him stay on the team, it's against next year. However, if you do buy him out, it's roughly $2 million this year, 1.4 next year on the cap. And when you have Couture and and Pavelski there to also eventually, and they can do that as early first.
And it wouldn't be a show unless Puck Guy AOL'd. So for those of you who heard any of what he said, there you go. I still go with the fact that I think Doug Wilson is going to wait and see what happens on July 1st. Obviously, things are interesting now in New York with the Islanders getting Barry Trotz. Does that make Tavares want to stay even more, or does that make him think, well, maybe it is time to leave the Isle? Obviously, time will tell with that, but you have that issue. You also have the salary cap now moving up to $79.5 million. I think it's just a case of there's no rush to buy out Paul Martin, as far as I know. So just let him be. And after you've made all your moves, obviously you want to extend Hurdle, want to extend Couture. You want to look at what's going to happen. And obviously Tierney. Hansen is gone. Joel Ward is gone. You might want to think about what you're going to do with Sorensen. There are some little things that you need to do, and I think that for Doug Wilson, Paul Martin, he's like, on the back burner. He's at the bottom of the list, and it's kind of like, let's see where we are financially after we've made all the moves we want to make and determine, does it make more financial sense to buy him out, get him off, and do what you need to do, or we'll just hold him, and because it makes more financial sense. That's what it's all about, I think. Any more questions before we get out of here?
I completely agree with you on that they're wait and see. And I think that's the same thing with Jumbo as well. They'll wait and see, and I think Jumbo's fine coming back at a minimum pay, but we'll see what he thinks as well.
Vince G bringing up in the chat, the buyout window ends June 30th, though. Okay, if that's the case, fine. I guarantee you, Doug Wilson's going to know more now, between now, or he'll know more on June 30th than he knows now. So maybe that's when we'll hear about it. Maybe he'll have more. Let's be honest. He can sign like Kovalchuk yesterday if he wants to. Maybe whatever's going to happen is going to happen. But I think it's going to be a case of Wilson waits until the last minute to really figure out where he's going to be out financially and what makes the most sense. Are there any other questions before we get out of here? Besides Tavares, who do you want the Sharks to sign? Tomas Hertl. That's who I want the Sharks to extend. You looked at what a beast he was last offseason. Obviously, Van Riemsdyk. How much do you think he should get? Honestly, Hertl, how much do I think he should get versus how much yes. Well, yeah, how much do I think he should get and how much do I think he will get? Honestly, I think he should I think he should get $6 million a year over the next 6 years. I think he should get 6.6. What do I think he'll get? I think he'll get 5.5 over 5 years. But it wouldn't surprise me if he goes 6.6. I mean, the kid is still ridiculously young. It wouldn't surprise me if Doug Wilson tries to figure out a way to sign him to an 8. I mean, how old is Hertl at this point? 24? So
yeah, and he just got engaged. Congrats, by the way.
Yeah, congrats, Tomas. So it wouldn't surprise me if Wilson clearly Doug Wilson is not scared of 8-year deals any longer. He used to be scared of anything over 5. He's not scared of the long deals now. So it wouldn't surprise me if they can get like Hertl to go $6 million a year over the next 8 years. I'd have no problem with that. I think that's a similar deal to what they got with Vlasic back in the day, where halfway through that deal it was considered a steal. So if Wilson can pull that off,
if we can get Tomas like 4 years, $5 million per, I think that's a great deal on both sides. Because I don't think you go over 6. I don't know.
Oh, see, I'm willing to go over 6 with Hertl. I think that kid still has a long upside. But smart money is 5.5 over the next 5 years. Do you miss Hoffman? Yes, I'm going to be really sad when the season goes and there is not a Mike Hoffman bobblehead. It's going to be terribly disappointing. For those of you who don't know, the Sharks, well, I shouldn't say the Sharks, we put together a Mike Hoffman tribute video on behalf of the Sharks, and we posted on our Twitter, on our YouTube, and on our Instagram, and it's been one of the most viewed videos of all time for us, and we thank you for that, because we put a lot. It took us a long time to put that video together, a lot of heart, a lot of energy, so we thank you very much for looking at that video. It meant a lot to us. Let's see. Kind of hope the Sharks sign Kovalchuk. Yeah, I would love that, because I was never a believer of the Sharks getting Tavares. I thought it was a pipe dream for the most part, like a lot of wishful thinking. If they get him, oh my God, yes, that would be amazing. But tell me the last time Doug Wilson signed the player that everybody that seemed so obvious, or like the big name guy that you would go after. Everybody, creamed their jeans when in the middle of a game at Dallas, Randy Hahn comes on and says, so there's a trade happening. The Sharks have acquired from the Boston Bruins, Joe Thornton. Nobody saw that coming. Just a lot of the moves he signs Devin Setaguchi, and the very next day moves Setaguchi, Ty Wissert, and a pick that would become Charlie Coyle for Brett Burns. Nobody saw that coming. It seems like the obvious plays, that's not what Doug Wilson is about. And maybe Doug Wilson is just kind of all in. Maybe he's just trying to, like, you know, pump up the tires. Maybe he's part of that group saying, hey, let's pump up the tires. Let's get somebody to overpay for John Tavares because maybe that'll make somebody else less expensive or more available, you know.
Or that maybe they're doing that with Kovalchuk, even though PDB has coached Kovalchuk before. Maybe he's trying to get LA to overpay him a little bit. That kind of puts a restriction on maybe Drew Doughty when he's a free agent next year.
There you go. See, I mean, Doug Wilson catches a lot of shit. And I'll be one of the first people to say, you know, there's been a couple things that I was very suspect about. The Adam Burrish acquisition, I was not a happy camper about. The Mikhail Bodker, you guys know me. For those of you who've been, you know, watching us for a while, you know, from the get-go, I was not a Bodker fan. I was not a fan of that acquisition. I wasn't the biggest fan of the Dillon contract. I thought Dillon was overpaid. But let's be honest, man. If you go and look over the last 15 years, Doug Wilson's history of what you would consider the kind of blockbuster moves, I dare you to show me the one that he hasn't been a winner in. I mean, moving Marco Sturm, Wayne Primo, and Brad Stewart for Joe Thornton, that was huge. Now, granted, conversely, you can sit there and go, yeah, okay, that was a great move. But, you know, since then, what team won the cup and what team didn't? Fair point. Good argument. But did it make the Sharks infinitely better to get Thornton and to move those pieces? Absolutely. You look at Dan Boyle. Did Matt Carl ever become the player that the Sharks projected him to be? You know, a Hobie Baker winner in Denver that, you know, sold to Sharks fans as the next Sandis Ozolinsh, the guy that was offensively gifted, going to QB the power play. Matt Carl was never that guy in San Jose, and I would argue never that guy, whether it was in Philly, Tampa, wherever, was never that guy. So to flip him, Ty Wissert, who never played an NHL game, and a pick to get Lukowich, but to get Danny Boyle back here. Blockbuster trade, stats overall, I think you say San Jose won that. San Jose, to me, won the Burns trade. You know, Setaguchi, just, you know, you feel for the guy. I loved him as a Shark, but, you know, he had his inner demons. Didn't work out with the Wild. Charlie Coyle, good piece. Do you trade him for a Norris winner? You know, a Norris winning defenseman? No. So the Sharks won that. So I'm just saying, Doug Wilson, as much crap as he gets, and I'm kind of one of those guys. Like I said, I don't like the Sharks' history, their pedigree at drafting defensemen in the first 2 to 3 rounds since Wilson has taken over as GM. They have Vlasic. That's essentially it. Yeah, there was Matt Carl, but Matt Carl was taken like that pick was already like fait accompli because Wilson had become the GM like a month and a half before then. So I kind of put that away. But since Vlasic, it's been slim pickings, my friends. You know, Doherty, Wren, Petrecki, Wissert, Mirko Mueller. That was a swing and a miss. Goldobin, not a defenseman, but still early round pick, swing and a miss. Maybe it's time for the scouting and draft group to get a little bit of a shakeup. I'm just saying. You look at what you not to take away anything from Timo Meier, good guy, but you look at what you could have. Isn't there a guy who just won the Calder that the Sharks could have had?
2 of those guys they could have had.
There you go.
The other thing too, Kevin Kurz mentioned this in an article on The Athletic. The last time the Sharks drafted an All-Star, Logan Couture.
Yeah. Well, now, granted, I mean, you're not going to find very many All-Stars, you know, in the NHL beyond, you know, the first, 18, 19, 20 picks. And the Sharks just don't pick there a lot because they're usually in the playoffs, which you have to give credit to Doug Wilson for that. And that goes again back to an argument that we've had on here a few times. Who do you want to be? Do you want to be the San Jose Sharks? Now, and just think about this for a minute, kids. Think about this not as a fan, but well, okay, think about it as a fan, but also think about it as an organization, as a franchise. Over the last 20 years, 2 decades, would you rather be the Dallas Stars that won it once and since then have, gone to the playoffs half the time, have generally gotten knocked out in the first round, have really not been anything to write home about, not threatening to, like, there are a lot of teams that went, going into the playoffs, I want to face Dallas because they're going to be the easiest matchup, I think. Do you want to win the cup that one time and then not be very competitive over the next 20 years? Or do you want to be the San Jose Sharks that you haven't won a cup, but over the course of that time, you go to the playoffs almost every season and you're competitive almost every season? If I'm a franchise, if I'm the Sharks, I'm taking that second option because it's more financially beneficial. Yeah, you get the cup at the very beginning of that, and you're going to get that 2 to 3 year championship hangover. Fans are going to be on you, and yeah, go Stars. 5 years down the road, it wears off. And when you have other teams in the market, whether it's the Mavericks or the Cowboys or the Rangers, they get competitive. They kind of take away your spotlight. If you're not doing well, and I've seen a few games versus Dallas, they're not exactly packing American Airlines Arena down there, and then, or AAC, whatever we want to call it. But, it's, I don't know. I think it's a little more financially, a little bit more beneficial to be more competitive year in and year out. And you look like I think there was something on the NHL Network last night or this morning that said, you take Pittsburgh out of the equation over the last 20 years or since the turn of the calendar, the turn of the millennium, Sharks have seen more playoff games than any other franchise in the league. You can shit all over Wilson all you want, but that says something.
Yeah, and you look at it. I mean, this season will mark the 20th anniversary of the Stars winning the cup. Okay, and then conversely, you look at the decade of dominance this team, the Sharks, have had. They started 2010 making the conference final, beating their nemesis in Detroit. Yeah, they lost to Chicago in a sweep, and some guy named Anthony Niemi that, oh crap, Alex is going to find out, and I've said Anthony Niemi. Then the next year, they go to the conference final against Vancouver. Then they get to host an outdoor game, okay? And then the year after that, they're in the cup final. Now this year, they're hosting the All-Star game. And this decade has been pretty damn special for San Jose and Sharks fans.
Yeah, I would absolutely give you that. So, and I'm one of those guys that, used to pile on Wilson pretty hard. I would look at some of the moves that the Sharks had made, and I'd sit there and go, Adam Burrish, really? Not Scott Parker, John Scott. I just had the word Scott in my head, but John Scott. And, the thing that really pissed me off in, 14, 15 is when they got John Scott, and the fact that Doug Wilson was quoted as saying, like, well, he's even though we've seen this huge exodus of enforcers from the league, he's going to be a guy who protects these kids we want to bring up. And of course, my question to that was, how the hell do you protect a kid when you're watching a game from the press box? John Scott that year, I think, played 34 games out of 82?
I'll check.
Yeah. Okay. You give it to him. Hey, NHL All-Star, but either way, just the way that was sold. And you look at, again, over the last 5 years, Doug Wilson, it seems, has really flipped the script. But you think about all the times where it was like, not going to sign a deal longer than 5 years, but I'm going to hand out no move and no trade clauses like there can on Halloween. He seems to maybe have gotten away from that a little bit. Thank God. I'm all right for a little bit longer term. If you give a guy another year to make him not take the no move, no trade clause, I'm fine with that. You look at the LA Kings when they won their first cup, you go on Cap Friendly, there's one guy on that team that had a no move clause. Everybody else free and clear. That same year, over half the Sharks had no move or no trade clauses.
And also,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. And also, look at Vancouver. When they were in their dominance, they threw out no trade clauses like crazy, and it hurt them when rebuilding this team up until now. They finally are in the free and clear.
Exactly.
By the way, John Scott, 38 games played with the Sharks, 3 goals.
Okay, see, I knew it was in the 30s. I knew it was. So he didn't even play half the season. How do you protect guys that are coming up if you don't even play half the season? So, and you want to talk about a team who had a lot of success that had like no move or trade clause. The Vegas Knights. Hello, I mean, look at how well they did with no trades, no moves clauses, none of those. You, of course, know that I'm being incredibly sarcastic right now, but either way. Wilson has flipped his script on that a little bit. I'm hoping that leads to better things in the draft. Hello. The Sharks franchise history since Vlasic has been garbage in the first 3 rounds when it comes to taking defensemen. When the Sharks take a defenseman with their first pick tomorrow, which they will, why not? Because not a lot of centers, because obviously the Sharks need a center. Not a lot of centers in tomorrow's draft. Decent amount of defensemen. I very much feel like the Sharks are probably going to take a defenseman. I hope that this is the one that they hit on. And if you look at what Pashelka, Gackle, Kurz all mentioned in the media call this week, is that it feels like, again, Wilson has flipped his way of thinking. He's going for more risk, more reward on his picks now, because from what I had seen, like Noah Rod was an incredibly insulated pick. Not a lot of risk to that. There's a couple guys that weren't high risk, but not high reward. And I think, it's about that time where I feel like Wilson needs to swing for the fences. His draft department, scouting department, whatever, they need to swing for the fences. I brought up, and of course, now that I mentioned that, I can't find it. Give me one moment, won't you? While
you do that, make sure you check out Ian Reed's article on tealtownusa.com in regards to a draft primer. Really good stuff. Make sure you check that out. Also, the draft is tomorrow at 4 p.m. on NBCSN. The first round will be on there. And then Saturday, all-day coverage from rounds 2 through 7 on the NHL Network. So definitely you'll get your hockey fix in as it leads up to free agent frenzy, as the countdown to where the heck John Tavares will go will take place. Back to you, AJ.
Well, and also the fact that there is a draft party, Solar for Ice, or Solar for America, Sharks Ice. Let's be honest. We also call it Sharks Ice in San Jose. But if you look, over the last 10 years, Nick Petrecki in 2007, only defensive pick taken in the first round. The year after that, the Sharks had no picks in the first 2 rounds. Year after that, that was, I don't even know that you can consider that the Sharks were even involved in the 2009 draft. No first round pick. Second round, they take William Wren, Taylor Doherty, both of them defensemen, both of them flamed. I think Doherty played 1 game as a Shark. Year after that, they take Charlie Coyle. We all know what happened. Hello, Brent Burns. Year after that, taking Nieto in the second round, he gone. Didn't really pan out the way that, he was like another Torrey Mitchell, just all feet, no hands. But in that round, or in that draft, second or third round, Justin Sefton on defense never panned out. Following year, great year. Tomas Hertl in the first round, Tierney in the second round, Joachim Ryan in the 7th round. Hello, Wilson scouting department. Awesome year. Also took O'Regan in the 5th, and that was part of the deal to get Kane. So that's great. But 13 and 14, your first two picks, your first pick in 2013, Mirko Mueller, Let him, basically got nothing. I mean, what did we get from Mirko Mueller out of Jersey? Like a 6th rounder, 5th rounder, something like that? I know it wasn't hell
Something like
of
that. I think it was 4th, actually.
4th. Either way, it wasn't a whole hell of a lot. I know that. And then the following year, you take Goldobin in the 1st round. And if I remember correctly, there were a couple pieces a couple better players that would have, fallen into your into that slot. If you hadn't is Goldobin the one? Is that the one where they like traded 2 picks to move up with Detroit?
Yes.
And they were like drafting 20th, and they traded like their 2nd round and their 1st round to move up a whopping 2 spots to get goddamn Nikolai Goldobin. And within 2 years, they moved him to Vancouver for Hansen, who was I would have rather have had Goldobin. I mean, at least one of the guys is younger. They're still going to contribute about the same amount, but at least,
Goldobin might actually be a fit for this team now, actually, believe it or not.
Right?
And for full disclosure, it was Mirko and a 5th to New Jersey for New Jersey's 2nd and 4th in last year's draft.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't have too much of a problem with that. But either way, again, it's one of those things where it's a defenseman that you took in the 1st round that for you, let's be honest, flamed out. If he was worth keeping, you would have kept him, unless it was going to bring back something incredibly significant. Because you could go back and argue that Matt Carl was a significant piece, but it ended up getting you Danny Boyle, who was huge for you. So that, that was an upgrade. And then, since then, you really can't, time needs to tell. We take Timo Meier in 2015, obviously, somebody that you hope is just going up on that upward trajectory. Jeremy, oh my God, Jeremy. I mean, what this kid could have been without these goddamn injuries drives you nuts. Haluka, boom, he gone. Balsers, in the 5th round, could very well, challenge for a spot, especially with Eric Fair gone. Maybe Balsers is the guy who ends up trying to.
And
go ahead.
The new guy on.
Oh, dear Lord, dude. Find a spot that you have a direct view of the cell tower. Come on, buddy.
Better?
Yes.
No? Maybe?
Yes.
How's that? Okay. I'd say...
All right, go ahead. And he puts himself on mute again. Okay, so when you decide what you want to say about Rudolph Balsers, you let me know. And then the rest of that draft, no one's heard of him since then. 2016, Gambrell, started a couple games for the Sharks at the end of the season. Bypassed the CUDA completely. We'll see what happens with them. The rest of some no-name forwards and 1 defenseman. We'll see. And then obviously it's way too early to judge Josh Norris or Mark Ferraro, any of those guys. Shemolevsky, Chikovic. We'll see. First he interrupts you and then he AOLs us. I know, right? Okay, so with that, I'm sure we've easily gone an hour. So thanks for tuning in, guys. It's been too long, but the schedule is out. Go make your plans. Again, couple quirky times in there. It's going to be fun to see what the Sharks come up with. I'm going to be also interested to see between now and the start of the season, because I don't know when individual game tickets go on sale. I always forget when that is. I'm sure it's end of August, beginning of September. Go ahead.
Usually FanFest.
Oh, FanFest. Oh, okay. Well, and between now, again, you have the draft this weekend, week and a half, whatever, 2 weeks. You have the prospect scrimmage game where you can see a few of those guys like Gambrell and some of the guys that I mentioned earlier. Absolutely. You will also see the reveal of the new Barracuda logo now that the Barracuda Networks are no longer a sponsor of the team. So we'll see a new logo. I'm assuming those huge teeth underneath the little CUDA, those are going away, which actually I thought kind of ruined the logo to begin with. So I'm happy to see that go away. new logo for the CUDA, probably a new jersey for the CUDA, you would think, because new crest. Will we see a new San Jose Sharks alternate jersey at that game? Will they reveal it then? Time will tell. Then between now and the start of the season, you will have Fan Fest, as far as I know. Hope there's kind of an all-star spin to it. I really hope they do the tank tailgate thing again, because that is so far. They've done it twice in the last 3 years. Obviously, they couldn't do it in the middle because of the Worlds, but tank tailgate. That's the play, my friend. And then, there might even be something else in there. I don't know. I wish they would do another teal and white scrimmage. Wonder if we'll ever see one of those again. But yes, the alternate jersey. I'm going to go ahead and bet the house right now and say it's going to be black. I'm not happy about that, despite the fact that I'm actually wearing a black San Jose Sharks jersey right now. But I think it's going to be black, but hopefully it has a bit more teal involved in it than, the last two black jerseys.
This is where I say, to quote Joe Pavelski, yeah, what he said.
Right. No orange. We don't want any orange. So, yeah, I'm. The other thing is I'm kind of hoping that this crest, the normal crest, the one I should say, like the crest over here, where you see it on the Sharks territory sign, that needs to be the crest on the alternate jersey, not that crest. Now, while I think that jersey is very cool, I don't think it should be the crest of the alternate jersey. I'm just saying. So,
and if you're a jersey collector, you got 7 jerseys to get this year. Home and away for CUDA, the 3rd jersey for the Sharks, and then 4 All-Star jerseys.
Oh, dear Lord. It's way too many. Plus, I'm sure there'll be a new Hockey Fights Cancer design jersey. There's going to be a lot of jerseys available. In fact, I'd even heard a rumor. Well, I don't want to get into it. I don't like to. I don't like to put out rumors. I like to talk about stuff that we are actually aware of. We'll find out if and when it happens. But so does it get released at the draft for the pick? I'm assuming you're talking about the alternate jersey. I'm going to say no. And the reason why is because I believe if the Sharks were going to do that, they would have promoted that they were going to do that, just like the Phoenix Coyotes and Carolina Hurricanes have done. Because both of those teams have said, we're releasing our new alternate jerseys during the draft. And the Phoenix Coyotes ones, it looks like a takeoff of the what is that, the Kochenka? What the hell is that thing called? Kachina. So it probably will be a takeoff of their Kachina jersey. It's going to have the whole Southwestern Picasso, whatever you want to call it. I think that's what that Phoenix jersey will be. But I think that's good because it's a nod to their heritage of when the Jets first moved to Phoenix and became the Coyotes franchise. Absolutely. Give a nod. The alternate should always give a nod to your heritage. I wish the Sharks would do that the alternate jersey, instead of having this new logo, the quote unquote Screaming Shark, I think it should have the original logo. Nod to your heritage. Conversely, the Carolina Hurricanes are supposed to be announcing their 3rd alternate for the draft, and that looks like that will also be a black jersey. But if you look at aesthetics, that Carolina Hurricanes jersey looks like that might be tight. Just from the close-ups, the little things, that might be tight. Hey, Laurel in the house. Oh, Laurel only showed up just because Kayla's here. That's why. She just wants to see Kayla. What's going on, Laurel? At the prospect scrimmage, maybe. Yeah, I'm thinking that the Sharks might very well, because typically the prospect scrimmage, what is a prospect scrimmage? It's typically not three 20-minute periods. It's usually like 2 20-minute periods or 2 half-hour periods. How cool would it be if the team comes out, the prospects come out, they play the first 30 minutes in brand new Barracuda jerseys that have the new crest because the Barracuda Networks logo is going away. And then to freak everybody the hell out, after the 30-minute, they do 30 minutes and then there's a 20-minute intermission. Then they come out wearing the new Shark alternate. I mean, wouldn't that surprise the crap out of everybody? It would sure as hell shock the crap out of me. So, and there's really nothing else on the Sharks calendar. So I don't know. I'd take a peek. Maybe I already have tickets for the July 6th game for the prospect scrimmage. So I'm looking forward to it, and we'll see what happens. And you can bet I'm going to have my camera at the ready if something interesting happens. But definitely want to see what the new Barracuda logo is going to look like. Because I'll be honest with you, that's one of the things that kind of drove me away from buying a Barracuda jersey was that double tooth logo thing behind the Barracuda. But the orange crest or the crest for the orange jersey at the SJ and everything, loved that. I just hate orange jerseys. I look horrible in orange. I can't pull it off. I don't know what. That's why I don't own an orange San Francisco Giants jersey. I love those, but I put one on and I can't pull it off, man. So anyway, anything else on the chat before we sign off? I will throw that on there while I wait for your questions. At Tealtown USA on Twitter. Follow the YouTube page. Please share it with your friends. I know we just passed 800 subscribers. We so would love to hit 1,000 before the end of the year. And obviously we'll have October, November, December of Sharks hockey to try to do that. But if you could help us out, share the YouTube, get people to smash that subscribe button, hit the notification bell. We'd really appreciate that. That would be awesome. That's kind of like our goal for 2018 heading into the season is we'd really love to hit 1,000 subscribers for YouTube. And the other thing, conversely, that will do is that once you hit 1,000 subscribers, you're able to like monetize. I'm going to look into what the hell that means, but we do this as fans, but it isn't free. We, pay money out of our pocket to host the website and all that good noise, and that hosting the website, a lot of all those graphics that Eric puts together. I mean, most people would charge a lot of money to do that. So if we can somehow get to 1,000 subscribers, that would give us the opportunity to be able to try to make a couple bucks to put back in to the hosting fees and everything. That would be awesome. And we'd really appreciate that. We don't want to go the Pantheon route. We thought about it. Still thinking about it. But anyway, at Tealtown USA on Twitter. Also the Instagram. We've done some Instagram only stuff. Obviously Facebook. And hey, Brody Brazil has his YouTube page going. Dude, he's blowing it up on YouTube. So absolutely subscribe to Brody's page as well. Always been a friend of the show. Has always helped us out when he's could. And we couldn't appreciate it more. So are we guys going to do a SoCal road trip this season? That's what I'm looking at, buddy. I'm looking at March 21st, March 22nd at LA, at Anaheim. This is
absolutely.
Yeah, dude. I may end up taking that whole goddamn week off, to be honest with you. That's going to be my spring break right there. That's the only thing that bums me out about that is that's literally during the spring break time. Like I'm worried about like traffic and or something, but I'm just saying. So anywho, again, share it with your friends, help us out. If you could get, some more people to subscribe to the YouTube channel, really appreciate it. Also SoundCloud, there's some stuff that we put on SoundCloud that you guys aren't even aware of if you only watch us on YouTube. So go subscribe to the SoundCloud account as well. And of course, the Pucknologists, the weekly rap show that I do with Rocket and Hockey Jerk. That's how you find out about it. So thank you so much. And with that, schedule's out, people. Go make your plans. Tealtown USA is out of here, and we will see you If not after the draft, depending on who the Sharks draft and what they do, if Doug Wilson for some reason decides to, trade all of his picks to whoever's drafting in the 5 spot or whatever to get some, obviously we're going to talk about that. But if not, if we don't do a draft wrap, I'm sure Ian Reed will probably do something with Teal Tinted to wrap up the draft. But you guarantee that's a new word that I've just made up. Guarantee that you guarantee you will see us July 1st, July 2nd in that time frame, because I guarantee you for the Sharks, there will be something to talk about. And with that, have a good night. Thank you so much, Laurel. And we'll see you next time. For Puck Guy, Puck Guy 14 on the Twitter. I am AJ_Strong on the Twitter. And we will see you next time, people. Enjoy your day. Go book some tickets for that Shark schedule.